legislative activities. Let's jump on that for a moment. 369. Hartzler of Missouri, Amendment number 10. And engaging, we see that the Republicans, 209 of them voted yes. 0 Democrats voted yes on this amendment. 190 Democrats voted no, and 24 Republicans voted no. Who are these 24 Republicans?
And I got to tell you, the Problem Solvers Caucus is a group of members, 24 strong on each side of the aisle, that are demonstrating we can get together as Democrats and Republicans to solve the problems that face the American people.
What is a congressional membership organization? Let's open that up. View the list of current and past CMOs. Okay, from the 115th, we have a CMO list. Okay, now this is very key. Watch. All members listed below are officers of their respective caucuses. Each caucus maintains its own membership list. Okay, that means that their membership is secret and does not need to be disclosed to the public. So when we look up the problem solvers, all we see is the chairman, Tom Reed, who is my congressman, 23rd District, and the Democratic co-chairman, Mr. Gottheimer. All right, none of the members are listed. Who are these 24 Republicans? Well, let's open up another window for a second, and we're going to look at something called the Problems Solvers Caucus under Casey's research. Okay, here it is, January 9th, 2017. Dear President-elect, we are Democrats and Republicans who have joined together in an emerging Problem Solvers Caucus. Okay, and then they put their names to this, the different names of who they are. Okay, this basically reveals the membership of this caucus. So what was this vote about? All it says is Hartzler of Missouri amendment. It doesn't give us the details as to what they were voting for. It'd be very interesting if this was in fact a link that gave us the language to that particular amendment. Then we have the generic issue of H.R. 2810, so we can look that up. And again, this is the generic defense bill, of which there are 655 amendments. In other words, quite a bit of work that we need to do to actually find out the language of what they were voting for that day. I've already done much of this work, and I have it here. Okay, so on this particular day, these are the activities of the 13th of July. Okay, and we are interested in a roll call named 369. You see it here? So if I click this link, it'll take me back to that roll call vote. If I click HR 2810, it'll do the same thing. But here's the actual language of the amendment. Simple to put in the spreadsheet, and I've done it here. Amendment sought to prohibit funds for medical treatment other than mental health treatment, meaning surgeries, okay, rather than counseling, related to gender transition to a person entitled to medical care under Chapter 5510. Okay, so in other words, the Hartzler Amendment was basically to prohibit funds for sex change surgeries. Okay? Now, here's Tom and his group voting for this. Is this a traditional family value, a conservative value, or is this a permissive socialistic value? So what this is it's basically favoring a special interest group, the LGBT community, and giving them free surgery. Okay? It's inappropriate for the federal government to be singling out a special interest group for special funding and special treatments. I don't like it. Okay, and I don't think it reflects the values of the folks of the 23rd Congressional District. But what were the actual arguments that were made that day? The only way to look that up is to go into the text. It appears on page H5799. Okay, I have to click that, and then I end up with a congressional record. Okay, now the congressional record is it's like the minutes of Congress, and in order for us to see what's going on here, we actually have to look the entire issue as a PDF, and then we have to do something kind of magic because we only have 135 pages to read through to find the discussions of this Hartzler Amendment. So I'm going to do Control F, and then we have Congressman Hartzler's name appearing. As I scroll down through, I see people Mr. McGovern is referring to the Hartzler Amendment, and we continue. There's the American Civil Liberties Union talking about how absolutely important it is for men to be turned into women, and it really makes them very happy I'm thrilled for them. I really am, but I think they should pay for it themselves. And then the actual argument of the Hartzler amendment does not begin until... All right, let me go back. Oh, here's Mrs. Hartzler. Here she is. Mr. Chair, I have an amendment at the desk. Okay, so what I have done, I've actually highlighted all the relevant argument of this particular amendment and placed it into my spreadsheet. If you look at this tab up here, you'll see what is printed in there. Hartzler of Missouri, 5:41 p.m. And here is the actual language from the Clerk of Congress. Amendment sought to prohibit funds for medical treatment related to gender transitions. Okay? And here is my synopsis of it. Banning military funding of sex change surgeries for soldiers. Here's the actual language from the journal. Okay? And then we have the issue that is important to me, one of traditional family values, one which Tom Reed, okay, in direct opposition to every other Republican in Congress, except for the 24 members of his Problem Solvers Caucus, gave the victory to the Democrats.
It's creating that new culture in Washington that we've been able to do for the last year in regards to create a room where you can come together as American citizens and shed the extremism that so many people in Washington, D.C. bring to the table.
209 aye, 214 nay. What that means is if 3 people voted differently, the Republicans would have won. But Tom had 24 lined up. It's very interesting. Why would these guys do that? And the real answer is money. And we'll look at that in just a moment. But here are the problem solvers, and you can see their names with the N for the no votes. Okay? And Mr. John Caco's part of the crew. All of these Republicans. All right? Well, Claudia Jennings didn't jump in, but here's Elise Stefanik, who has not officially aligned herself with problem solvers, and yet she votes with them consistently, okay? And she's one of our rural New York Republicans, and frankly, she needs to be primary. But I'm going to do my part in primarying Mr. Reed. Let's look at a few others this day, okay? Then I have to show you the genesis, all right? I won't take you through the process on how to get at this information a second time, but you see it is rather tedious. But in this spreadsheet, which I'll make available on my website, we will look at these various bills, okay? So this is, again, about biofuel accountability. We're spending too much money on biofuel. It's a financial accountability issue. Again, a very close vote, but the problem solvers are giving the victory to the Democrats, okay? Here's another one here, the Buck Amendment. And here is an amendment sought to do cost competitive calculations, cost competitiveness calculations involving biofuels. Why? Because they were forcing the military to spend $48 a gallon on biofuels. A very close vote. Okay? Separate by 15, of which there's 9, at least 9, confirmed problem solvers. That would make an 18-vote disparity. That would be sufficient to give the Democrats the victory on this one. Again, financial accountability. What kind of future are we passing on to our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, those who are not yet born, if we're going to continue to spend money as if there is no tomorrow? There happens to be a tomorrow, and I'm going to fight for that, okay? Again, national defense, traditional family values is vote 369, financial accountability. It's all right here, okay? So this was from one day. Let's see what the entire year brought. We have dozens of votes in the 115th First Congress related to problem solvers giving close votes to the Democrats and rendering the Republican majority irrelevant.